Welcome to the Isle of Knowledge. Today we are going to discuss something that we all are wondering about nowadays. Why summers are scorching hot, and winters bone-chilling cold? Even though the question is still an open research topic, there are factors that are likely to influence extreme weather conditions. Since the start of the Industrial Revolution, the average global temperature has risen by 1.1 Celsius degrees, and is continuing to rise by 0.15 Celsius degrees every 10 years. The past 8 years have reportedly been the hottest on record, and experts predict that global temperatures will continue to rise in the decades to come. According to the researchers at NASA's Goddard Institute for Space Studies, the average global temperature on Earth has risen by at least 1.1 degrees Celsius since 1880. You might be thinking that, if global warming is real, then why is it so cold outdoors? Especially in winter. In fact, this is a factual observation, and this is where the puzzle also begins. Two things are true at the same time. Winters are getting colder and hotter at the same time. As we always do, before diving into the details, let's discuss some related facts in a nutshell. What causes the seasons, and how can it happen? Let's find out. The Earth's axis of rotation is tilted in relation to its orbit around the Sun, which causes seasons. Due to the Earth's tilted axis, different parts of the Earth get different amounts of solar radiation. This is why we experience seasonal fluctuations in temperature and weather. During the summer, the North Pole is tilted towards the Sun. Because of that, the Northern Hemisphere receives more direct sunlight, and experiences warmer temperatures. In the winter, the North Pole has tilted away from the Sun, causing the Northern Hemisphere to receive less direct sunlight, and experience colder temperatures. In the Southern Hemisphere, the opposite is true. It experiences summer when the North Pole has tilted away from the Sun, and winter when the North Pole is tilted towards the Sun. Depending on your location, the season's exact timing and lengths will vary. For instance, because the Sun's rays are more direct, and the temperature fluctuations are not as drastic, the seasons in the tropics are not as noticeable as those in more temperate locations. This raises one more important question. Why seasons are not prominent near the equator? The simplest answer is that each day, the Sun strikes the equator at the same angle. At the equator, the Sun's rays hit the Earth's surface at a more direct angle, which means that the Sun's energy is more evenly distributed throughout the year. Since the equator receives about 12 hours of sunlight every single day, seasonal changes are not as noticeable close to the equator. On the other hand, higher latitudes experience more extreme temperature changes, because the Sun's rays strike the Earth's surface at an oblique angle. Overall, the Earth's tilt, and the distance from the Sun, are the main factors that determine the seasons. Why seasons are important? It's good to know the reasons. One explanation is that the Earth's ecosystem depends heavily on the seasons. The onset of various life events, including flowering, breeding, and migration, are dependent on the changing of the seasons, for many plants and animals. Agriculture is significantly impacted by the seasons as well. Farmers use the tidewater, and flow of the seasons, to guide them when they plant and harvest their crops. Seasonal suitability of crops influences when they are planted, and harvested, which can significantly affect crop yield. Now to the topic of why winters are getting colder and summers are getting hotter. Research conducted in the year 2012 by Judah Cohen and his team found that rising summer temperatures in the Arctic meant the atmosphere could hold more moisture, leading to an increase in autumn snowfall in high-latitude areas. The findings of that research show that the average snow coverage in Eurasia had increased over the past 2 decades. This additional snow cover has led to a change in the Arctic Oscillation, the main atmospheric pressure pattern that governs winter weather in the far northern hemisphere. When the oscillation becomes negative, high-pressure cells over the Arctic push colder air toward the mid-latitudes, triggering colder than usual temperatures and fierce snow storms. However, it is not accurate to say that winters are getting consistently colder worldwide. While it's true that some places might have colder winters than others, other places might have warmer winters. When talking about summers, the reason for the temperature hike is climate change, which is primarily caused by human activity. The burning of fossil fuels releases greenhouse gases, such as carbon dioxide, into the atmosphere. These gases trap heat from the sun and cause the Earth's temperature to rise. This is known as the greenhouse effect. In addition, deforestation and other land use changes also contribute to climate change by altering the planet's natural ability to absorb and store carbon dioxide. Even the timings of seasons can be affected by climate change. For instance, as the planet's average temperature rises, we might observe that spring arrives earlier in the year, and autumn arrives later. Ecosystems, and the animals and plants that depend on them, may be disturbed as a result. As we discussed, the climate is complex, and is influenced by a variety of factors, including the Earth's orbit around the Sun, the composition of the atmosphere, and human activity. These factors can cause the Earth's climate to change over time, leading to shifts in temperature and weather patterns. It's possible that local or regional factors, like changes in atmospheric circulation patterns, or the disappearance of sea ice, are causing some places to have colder winters and hotter summers. However, when analyzing trends in temperature and weather patterns, it is crucial to take into account the broader global context. Even though climate change is a serious concern for our world, it is not too late for us to make a change. We know, it sounds cliché, but it cannot be further from the truth. The first step towards change is awareness, and the second step is accepting it. Our videos have given as much insight as we could to help raise your knowledge and awareness of the ongoing phenomena of the world, and now we expect you to come to your senses and accept the fact that our world is changing. Realize that the biggest change you can do is within yourself, and use your profound knowledge to protect our home planet. We will meet you with another interesting video. Till then, have a nice day. Thank you for watching. Please consider subscribing, liking, and sharing, which means a lot to me. I love to see your thoughts in the comment section.